Buy my bike, sir. Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days. What the bikers discovered will break your heart. The sun was setting behind the rusted rooftops of a forgotten town when a little girl, no older than 8, stepped into the parking lot of Iron Wolves Motorcycle Club. Her small hands clutched the handlebars of a half-broken pink bicycle, its chain rusted, its seat torn. Her eyes, wide, tired, and innocent, scanned the row of leather-clad bikers laughing and smoking near their roaring Harleys. She took a trembling breath and walked toward them. "Excuse me, sir," she said softly, voice almost drowned by the rumble of engines. The men turned, half amused, half curious. "Buy my bike, sir," she whispered. "Please. Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days." The laughter died. The engines stopped. And the leader of the gang, a massive man with tattoos down his arms and a scar across his cheek, looked down at her, completely speechless. That single sentence changed everything, and by the end of that night, the Iron Wolves would discover who took everything from her family, and why fate brought her to them. The girl with the broken bike, her name was Lila. 8 years old. A soul too gentle for a world too cruel. She lived with her mother, Sarah, in a one-room shack at the edge of town. 2 months ago, their life was different. Sarah worked as a waitress in a diner, saving every coin to pay rent and keep her daughter in school. But when her boss's son, a man named Rick Danner, tried to touch her one night and she pushed him away, everything fell apart. The next morning, she was fired. Then came the threats. By the end of the week, their landlord, who happened to be Rick's uncle, evicted them. Their savings disappeared when a local gang looted their tiny home. Sarah didn't even have the courage to report it. Rick's family owned half the town, including the police chief, and so she stopped eating, saving the little they had for her daughter. That morning, when Lila found her mother weak and faint, she quietly took her broken bike, whispered a prayer, and walked to the only place in town where she thought people still cared about the poor. The bikers, rumor said, they were rough but fair. That they helped people when no one else did, and that's how she ended up in front of the Iron Wolves. The leader, Dean "Rogue" Carson, crouched down, looking into her tear-filled eyes. "Who told you to sell this, sweetheart?" he asked gently. "No one," she said. "Mommy said I can't, but she needs food. I thought maybe you'd buy it. It's still good, I think." Dean's jaw tightened. The other men exchanged glances. They had seen war, loss, and betrayal, but this small act of bravery from a starving child broke something inside them. Dean reached into his pocket, pulled out a roll of bills, and handed her a $100 note. "I'll buy it," he said. "But you keep the bike. I'll just rent it for a while." The men chuckled softly, tears glistening in more than one pair of eyes. Dean stood up. "Where's your mom, Lila?" She pointed down the hill. "In the old bus stop house. She's sick." The bikers exchanged looks again. Without a word, Dean grabbed his jacket and keys. "Mount up, boys." Engines roared to life. Dust swirled in the sunset. That's how the Iron Wolves rode down to the forgotten corner of town, toward a mother and daughter who had nothing left but each other. Sarah woke to the sound of engines rumbling outside. She thought she was dreaming, until her door opened and her little girl ran in, shouting, "Mommy, they came to help. They bought my bike." Behind her stood Dean and his crew, carrying food, blankets, and even a small medical kit. Sarah tried to stand, embarrassed and frightened. "Please. I didn't ask for charity." Dean shook his head. "This isn't charity. It's respect. Your little girl's got more guts than half the town." He turned to his men. "Set the food up. Now." While Sarah ate for the first time in 2 days, Dean asked quietly, "Who did this to you?" At first she hesitated. But when she saw Lila's trusting eyes, she told the truth, about Rick, about the threats, about how no one dared to help. Dean listened in silence, his fists clenching tighter with every word. That night, the Iron Wolves didn't return to their clubhouse. Instead, they rode into the heart of the town, to Danner's bar, where Rick and his men were laughing over drinks. When the bikers walked in, the bar fell silent. Dean slammed a photograph of Lila and Sarah on the counter. "Recognize them?" Rick sneered. "What's it to you?" Dean leaned close, voice like thunder. "You took their home. You hurt her. You starved them. That makes it my problem." A fight erupted. Not a wild bar brawl, but a calculated storm. The wolves didn't kill. They sent a message. When it was over, Rick's pride, and his power, lay broken. The next morning, Sarah woke to find a small envelope on her doorstep. Inside was a deed, a little house, bought in her name. A note read, A bike brought us together. Keep it. Rogue and the Iron Wolves. Tears filled her eyes as Lila hugged her from behind. A week later, the sound of Harley engines echoed once more through the hills. The wolves stopped by to see Lila riding her little pink bike again, smiling, strong, and free. Dean looked at her and smiled. Guess I'll never get my bike back, huh? She giggled. No, sir. You only rented it. He laughed. Good. Because that's the best deal I ever made. As the engines faded into the distance, Sarah whispered, sometimes, angels don't have wings. They ride motorcycles. When the world turns cold and justice sleeps, sometimes kindness rides in leather and steel, because compassion isn't about what you give, it's about what you stand for. And that little girl with the broken bike, she reminded them all what it means to fight for what's right.